on the road in Chicago at Pallet Sound. We're live right now with grandson Jordan. Ramon, thank you for being here, guys.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Thanks for having us. Make some noise for Ramon on guitar from your house.
Ramon Blanco.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah, let us do this thing. So we're going to hear 3 songs of yours. One of them, congratulations to you. One of them is on the Suicide Squad soundtrack, which is coming out on Friday. That's going to be huge. I mean, hundreds of millions of people will see that, so well done.
Thank you.
We're going to hear one from Death of an Optimist, the debut album as well, and we're going to hear the massive smash hit fan favorite as well.
Ready to do this thing?
Yeah, man. What's happening first?
This is going to be a song called Rain that I put out a couple weeks ago following a very serendipitous message, Hail Mary, thrown to the writer and director of the new Suicide Squad movie, James Gunn. Long story short, he allowed me to be a part of the movie alongside my fellow Canadian friend, Jesse Reyes. This is our song called Rain. I do not mind the rain sometimes, 'cause that's the only way the roses bloom in my mind. When I cry, 'cause that's the only way the roses bloom. It's okay, I'm not okay. I felt the disarray yesterday. Oh my, I need to feel the raindrops on my head, on my head. I know nothing, so I embrace what I cannot console. Oh my, trouble walks beside me till my end, till my end. I do not mind the rain sometimes, 'cause that's the only way the roses bloom in my mind. When I cry, 'cause that's the only way the roses bloom. Yeah. Now, it's better to have loved and lost, but the feeling, it comes at a cost. Oh my poor heart is my only friend, only friend. But I've come to love a heavy sky. The lightning couldn't beat my side. Oh my, trouble walks beside me till my end, till my end. Yeah. I do not mind the rain sometimes, 'cause that's the only way the roses bloom in my mind. When I cry, 'cause that's the only way that the roses bloom. And on my heart, I swear I made peace with the rain. Peace with the rain. Now I dance with the pain. Yeah. Hand on my heart, I swear I made peace with the rain. Peace with the rain. Now I slow dance with the pain. Oh, 'cause I do not mind the rain sometimes, 'cause that's the only way the roses bloom in my mind. When I cry, 'cause that's the only way. Oh, 'cause that's the only way the roses bloom. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you. Oh, wait, dude, I was cut to the other camera. I missed that completely. If you want to do it again, I can cut to the wide. Yeah, we got it. Man, dude, it's an epic song, regardless of the instrumentation and the arrangement of it. I mean, I know that the studio version of it and the theater version of it is a much lusher and bigger arrangement of it, but it sounds wonderful and has the same kind of vibe, even when it's stripped down like this.
Thank you. Yeah, I listened to a great podcast from the legendary David Crosby, who made a comment on that
great song, first and foremost, has to function in these spaces, and it's really awesome. So early in the life of a song, to get opportunities like this, to work out the kinks in stripping it down and making sure, yeah, this shit still goes really hard in front of a campfire, because that's my earliest relationship to the guitar, is acoustic in front of a fire like that. So yeah, it's an homage to the epic cinematic ballads from people like
a Bond, a Bond theme.
Yeah, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Prince, Purple Rain type kind of thing. So
yeah. Well, dude, I'm glad that you can use this opportunity both to put your work out there through Paste Magazine, but also use this session right now as rehearsal and road testing and finding out more about your own song.
Yeah, and a good reminder of how to sing hungover after playing 2 sets in 24 hours.
Yeah, dude, I'm doing my best to speak English in a similar situation, and we're doing good so far, man. That was outstanding. So what I'm wondering about that song, so Death of an Optimist came out end of 2020. Was Rain... did that feel to you like part of the same body of work as Death of an Optimist? Because I know a lot of the album themes on Death of an Optimist is, you contemplating going back and forth between themes of dark and light. And then when you're talking about making peace with the rain and dancing with the pain, that seems thematically similar to the album. Was it part of the same body of work for you, or did you write it specifically for Suicide Squad?
This is a great question. In writing my debut album, this song wasn't a part of that, but over the last year, as I've continued working in the studio, particularly if you go through, if anyone here is listening and goes and checks out Death of an Optimist, you'll notice there's no features on it. It was for my debut album. I really wanted it to be a reflection of what I was going through during the pandemic. But since then, I've been doing a lot of collaboration with incredible people. Like I said, Jesse Reyes featured on that song. So in retrospect, looking back, I do think that I would like to continue adding to this kind of world that I was building with my debut album. I think this song definitely fits a part of that, as well as a lot of other stuff that I've done since the initial release. In the space of collaborating with my favorite artists, not being afraid to just message people, utilize social media for what it was initially intended to do, which was connect people, as opposed to ripping them apart and scrambling their brains, which is what it is also unfortunately happening as a byproduct. But the point was connection, and so I've been reaching out to a lot of artists. So it could still work on that same universe, but for now it's living with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's this is a total side note. I don't mean to make this about me in any way, but I need you to know that I threw my telephone in the trash can 2 years ago. I do not own a telephone, and that has helped my mental health in a huge way. Yeah, and I'm in a communication-heavy job. Like, we book these things and do these things, and I do it from a laptop, and I'm not connected on my phone, and it makes me feel better.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm not strong like that. I know Ramon's not strong like that, and I know the person watching this probably isn't, but good for you, man. That's awesome. And having that honesty with yourself and knowing what you need is such an important part of your mental health journey, and it's a lifelong journey for sure.
Well, so how are you doing right now? I mean, I know a lot of Death of an Optimist, which we're going to hear one coming up next from Death of an Optimist. It's a lot about, struggling between nihilism and don't give a shit, nothing matters, we're all going to die, and do we try to do something important while we're here, even though maybe it doesn't matter, but should we try? Where do you stand right now? I mean, are you feeling like, fuck it all, I don't care? Or are you feeling like, let's do something? Are you motivated right now?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I appreciate you taking the time to listen through it. Those are absolutely, that's the dichotomy that I was navigating in this past year. All of my career has been trying to encourage people and inspire and motivate a sense of personal agency in your life. There's so many different avenues that we walk down as we navigate growing up, where things feel predetermined and you feel like the world is getting smaller. And whether that is through civic engagement and activism, whether that's through taking your own mental health seriously and doing what you got to do, I hope that this project serves to give people that soundtrack for them taking agency over their life and re-examining the things that they thought were rigid and sacrosanct. For me personally, it really depends on the day, and it's a double-edged sword. I feel extremely inspired, having played our first show in a year and a half in front of the main stage of Lollapalooza, thousands of people, and seeing this album that I wrote stuck in my apartment sung back at me. It's an incredibly galvanizing, like motivating feeling, like yes, purpose, fulfillment. At the same time, the CDC is, you know, trying to keep us safe, and we're really still, unfortunately, in unprecedented times where we really are just feeling out this time in our lives. So it's complicated. It goes back and forth like everybody, but whenever I do find myself flirting with that nihilism or that apathy that I do often struggle with, I redouble my efforts to make this not about me and my conflict, but about whoever's on the other side of this thing, whoever else is enjoying this. Some artists let people in, other artists stand out and reach out. And I'm definitely more of an extroverted artist. I use music as a way to connect with people. And when I do so, whether in virtual form or in real life, touching, you know, fans and feeling it, when I focus on that, I have that fulfillment and that purpose.
Good, man. Well, dude, I'm glad for you personally, and we've known each other for about 20 minutes now, but I'm glad for you personally that you had that experience in front of all those people.
Yeah.
For you personally, but also, so it's, I mean, helpful to your mental health, but you're also reflecting that back and amplifying a lot to a lot of people, and probably a lot of people can empathize with a lot of those themes. So thank you for putting it out. We're always happy to use this platform to amplify voices like yours. And we're going to hear more, man. We're going to hear one off of Death of an Optimist right now, right?
Yeah, this is the lead single from my debut album. It's called Dirty, and we used it to kick off a voter registration project last year where, in the middle of a pandemic, we were able to help register over 4,500 people in partnership with an organization called Headcount to vote in last year's election. So it's a song that I'll always be proud of, and in a time where we felt very much helpless, it was one thing I can point to during the pandemic and be like, that was a fucking good thing that we did, and it's a really fun song. So we're gonna do it for you now. This is called Dirty. Ready? Let's do it, baby. Is it time to lead or is it time to die? Time to raise hell or walk on by. Is there anybody out there that's paying attention? Yeah. Is it time to speak up or time for silence? Time for peace or is it time for violence? Is there anybody out there that's paying attention? Tell me what you're trying to hide and what you're running from inside. 'Cause I got a surprise. We might not make it to the morning. So go on and tell me now, do you have enough love in your heart to go and get your hands dirty? It isn't that much, but it's a good start. So go and get your hands dirty. Do you love your neighbor? Is it in your nature? Do you love the sunset? Aren't you fed up yet? Do you have enough love in your heart to go and get your hands dirty? I got a skeleton under the floorboard. Got a secret I need you to keep. Run away, you have been forewarned. I don't wanna go off in the deep. If we don't do something, we'll be stuck up in the mud again. Don't wanna mess it up, 'cause I want everything or nothing at all. I got a feeling one day walking on the ceiling that the people needed healing, one and all. What you trying to hide and what you running from inside? 'Cause I got a surprise. We might not make it to the morning. So go on and tell me now, do you have enough love in your heart to go and get your hands dirty? It isn't that much, but it's a good start. So go and get your hands dirty. Woo. Do you love your neighbor? Is it in your nature? Do you love a sunset? Aren't you fed up yet? Do you have enough love in your heart to go and get your hands dirty? Is there anybody out there that's paying attention? Is there anybody out there that's paying attention? Is there anybody out there that's paying attention? Is there anybody out there? So go on and tell me now, do you have enough love in your heart So go and get your hands dirty. It isn't that much, but it's a good start. So go and get your hands dirty. Do you love your neighbor? Is it in your nature? Do you love the sunset? Aren't you fed up yet? Do you have enough love in your heart to go and get your hands dirty?
Yeah. Nice. Thank you guys. Man, is this a common thing for you? Do you do radio promo, stripped down stuff like this frequently, or is this is this a fresh experience for you guys?
Once upon a time. Does it sound like we never do it? Is that what you're implying? Does it sound like we're still figuring it out?
Not in any way. I'm segueing, hopefully, eventually in the future, into a conversation about production and instrumentation, and wondering how frequently you do it this way. It sounds wonderful.
So my longtime writing partner, he goes by the name Kevin Hissink, and the two of us often will just sit with a guitar. Usually it's an electric, but there are definitely songs that we start on acoustic. We build production as we write, so usually they are in tandem, building the song and writing the song while also beginning to put together the finished product in our minds. It's kind of like we're trying to write the movie script while we're shooting, but it is good to check back in and be able to come back and make sure that it sounds good in this conversational way. This song I actually wrote in Nashville right before the pandemic with a guy named Gabe Simon as well as Kevin Hissink, and it was a very refreshing way to work, because I don't really come from the background of rock music, as is maybe demonstrated by, when you listen to my music, the ingredients of hip hop and electronic music that we build in. But going to Nashville, which is such a guitar-driven city, and being able to work with people that are really rock-oriented was a really refreshing experience. And that was much more collaborative, much more in a space not dissimilar from this one, just vibing out on like a keyboard and a drum set and a guitar, and then incorporating those elements that I bring to everything after the fact.
Well, and some of the production team on this is, there's some of the most recognizable names, not only in music, but some of literally the most famous people in the world. How did those relationships come to be, and what did Mike and what did Travis bring to the table when you guys worked together?
Yeah, working with Travis Barker from being Travis Barker, I don't need to explain, and Mike Shinoda, who's worked on things like Linkin Park, an incredible talented producer as well. Working with them was fun. It was exciting. And one of the biggest takeaways that I got from working with such incredible producers, when I initially was given the opportunity to spend a day with somebody like Travis Barker, my biggest fear was losing the identity that over the past couple of years I've forged in such tight collaborative spaces. I feel like what we make is very different from what other people make, and as a result, I didn't really fuck with other people when I was first building my brand of alternative rock and roll. So when I came in, my guard was actually up. I was obviously quite nervous, but more so, my fear was that I'd come out of these things with a Blink-182 song and a Linkin Park song, and what does that do for Grandson? You know what I mean? And it couldn't have been less like that. And you know, the greatest producers in the world, they don't necessarily project their own ego or their own fingerprint onto everything that they do. The exact opposite, rather, they just try and amplify what's already there. And it was really refreshing, you know, to be able to work with people that have made music that has lasted, you know, already decades and will be one of the things in the time capsule of the 90s and 2000s. Working with them was really, really cool, and it was incredibly encouraging that they brought me in and said, let's do it your way. So working with them on this album was special, and yeah, then you get to leave and be like, I fucking did that. That was the coolest thing ever. So doesn't matter whether you're like, you know, the world's biggest music fan or you're playing Lollapalooza, it's still really cool to work with Mike Shinoda and Travis Barker.
That is great to hear, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I have many examples in my mind of the opposite of that, where the producer comes in and it just sounds like their other band, and it's not great. That's not what I signed up for
Sure.
that record. I want to hear the artist that I'm a fan of, whose records I have loved in the past. I don't need the producer to say, look at me.
So much of that
that's
is
good to hear, man. I like that a lot.
So much of that is just trusting in yourself as an artist that what you do is worth continuing to do, and trust in as a producer, a co-writer, which I've started doing a little bit more of. Stuck inside at my house, doing more writing sessions for other artists. You're trying to just have the trust that if you give people their own unique voice, that will speak to the people that have lived that similar experience, whether it's in their hometown or it's in their generation or whatever that looks like.
Nice. Well, dude, thank you again for being here today. Thank you for heroing through your hangover and the decompression from the Lollapalooza. It's a lot. We really do appreciate your time today, and there's more music of yours to be shared. What's coming up third today?
That's right. Last but certainly not least, I'm going to play a song called Bloodwater that is very close to my heart and has opened all kinds of doors in ways I never could have expected. It's a song that I wrote from a place of extreme feelings of helplessness, watching the Trump era unfold. What I intended to do with this song was write the exact opposite of how I was feeling. I wanted to put myself as the manifestation of the inevitable winds of karma that will and have befallen many of the elite who have made decisions with huge consequences that they often are the last to feel the impact of. That was the inspiration for Bloodwater, and it's taken me across the world and back. So again, Ramon Blanco on guitar. Thank you, brother, for coming to hang. Thanks for having us here. And this is called Bloodwater. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll never get free. Lambs to slaughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed, your son and your daughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? Look me in my eyes, tell me everything's not fine, or the people ain't happy, and the river has run dry. You thought you could go free, but the system is done for. If you listen real closely, there's a knock at your front door. We'll never get free. Lamb to the slaughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed, your son and your daughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? When there's blood in the blood in the blood in the gonna do? Beg me for mercy, admit you were toxic. You poisoned me just for another dollar in your pocket. Now I am the violence, I am the sickness. Won't accept your silence. Beg me for forgiveness. We'll never get free. Lamb to the slaughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? The price of your greed, your son and your daughter. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? Oh, when there's blood in the blood in the what you gonna do when there's blood in the water? Blood in the water. heroes, I am the people, I am the storm, I am the riot, I am the swarm. When the last tree's falling, the animal can't hide, money won't solve it. What's your alibi? What's your alibi? What's your alibi? What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? Oh, 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 blood in the oh, 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 blood in the oh, blood in the water. What you gonna do when there's blood in the water? Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Ramon. Man, this has been a ton of fun. Thank you. This has felt like a very conversation. This has been wonderful to hang out with you. It feels like we're
Dude.
hanging out and having a conversation. I feel like we probably connected on the same level, based on, I don't know, mutual past experiences and also mutual past fun from last night. But this is wonderful, and thank you so much, dude. I'm going to go check out Suicide Squad as soon as possible. It seems like a stupid good amount of fun. I like that song a lot, and best of continued luck on Death of an Optimist. It is out in the world on Fueled by Ramen right now. And, dude, thank you again for doing this.
Thank you
man.
so
We
much
really
for your
appreciate
time
it.
today. Appreciate it. Have a safe, happy weekend, everybody.